on, people. Here we go again, part 5. All right, let's see here. What do we got? Where do I start at? I'm pushing more damn buttons. I'm starting my timer. I'm playing the damn little song. I'm trying to grab my book. I'm starting, but I got no staff or crew. Sorry, I'm doing this by my. I'm like a one-legged man in a kick fight. I'm getting my ass kicked here. All right, so the money crash, we talked about that on the goods, inflation, all that's going up. There'll be a war on the working class. That might do it. The government is so good and it's so long attacked good, hard-working people, good, honest people, just trying to make a living and raise their kids. That's what America's about. Raising your kids the way you want, making good Americans, giving back to your community. That's what America is. You can't do that with government. Government's going to control how your kid's educated. They're going to control the schools. They're going to give you federal money. They're going to control how much you pay for gas. They're going to control, what your fire department, police can do. They'll give out policy. Government is in your life every step of the way, and that's just not how our founders were like. Government needs to stay out. We're going to make government so complicated that we're going to have to give the House power, we're going to give the Senate power, we're going to give the President power, we're going to give the Supreme Court power, and they're all going to have power over each other so nobody can get too damn strong, because we know that absolute power corrupts absolutely. If we give one party or one part too much power, they will take over all of them. Gee, we haven't seen that. Obama's writing executive orders left and right, ignoring Congress, ignoring the Senate, ignoring the Supreme Court, ignoring federal. He don't give a shit about anybody. And you know what? The liberals are praising him. Go Obama! It's praise. He's so great and wonderful. The first black man has done so much to steal freedoms that we just need to praise him because he's black. I mean, it's just crazy. So, the war on the working class. Pretty soon, people are going to say, you know what? I'm working too damn hard for too less. I'm tired of the government, and they're going to stand up. So that could spark the next revolution. The government's going to make all citizens criminals. Okay? So, and of course, by making us all criminals, they're going to stop anybody from pushing back from the government, because if you push back on the government, you're going to be a criminal. So we'll make guns illegal, and then all you guys who want to fight back and stand up for your rights will say you're a criminal because you own a gun. So we'll make speaking out a crime, and we'll call it terrorist acts, we'll call it against the national security. So we'll take away that free press and we'll make that a crime, so now we'll get those guys a criminal. Any group that wants to portray patriotism, we'll call them domestic terrorists and make that a crime. And anybody that goes against our agenda, we'll figure out some way to attack them, either through the EPA, gun registration, land, environmental, water. You can't collect your own rainwater. You can't grow your own food. You can't do anything anymore because the government doesn't want you to have control over your life. Well, Rick, the government works for us and it's we the people. Okay, keep saying that, you big dummy. Let's see. Government growth and overreach, of course, that's always happening. Government seizing rights, and they're seizing it left and right. Free press, free speech. Anybody that whistleblows now automatically becomes a criminal. You can't call out the government for doing something wrong, and they've even gone so far as to say, you know what, when you work for the government, we're going to make you sign this thing. And when you sign it, if you tell any of our secrets or if you whistleblow on us, we're going to put you in prison. Yeah, that's free speech. Some guy was like, I'm going to ask a cop if cops work and think the same way you do, because the cops I know don't think like you. I go, dude, you can't ask a cop what he thinks. Cops don't have free speech. When I was working as a cop and I worked for an agency, I fell under their policy. I represented them. I was part of a government program, system, bureaucracy, and I had to support that government. That's part of my conditions for getting a paycheck, retirement, being hired. People think people in government are just going to go, you know what, I don't need that money. I don't need my retirement. I don't need anything. I'm going to stand up for the people and not support the government that pays me and takes care of my family. People, that ain't going to happen. And the government knows it's not going to happen. So why does government want government growth? Because if we can get 50 to 60% of the people working for the government, we know those people ain't going to stand up against us. So now we're only looking at maybe 40% of the people. And since normally most people don't care, they live their lives like sheep running around, we don't have to worry about most of them. We only probably have to worry about that 3 or 4% that wants this stupid freedom, Constitution, believe in the Founding Fathers crap. Those are rebel, rousing Minutemen wanting to be patriots and all that shit. Those are the only ones we really got to worry about. So how do we attack them? Well, let's call them domestic terrorists. Let's say they got guns, so they're the bad guy. Let's get rid of the guns. Let's make them criminals for owning guns, and then we can put them in jail, or we'll stop them from speaking out, because if they speak out, we'll put them in jail. Perfect. Then what happens? Well, then government just keeps doing what they want to do, because then nobody will fight back. Bad times ahead. You know, if a foreign country was doing to this country what our own government is doing, overspending, wasteful spending, putting us in debt, not controlling the borders, flooding us with people that don't work, flooding the school system with illegals and refugees so our own kids can't get a good quality education, and so they raise the property taxes so people have to pay more money for less training in schools, because the more money we give them, they bring in more illegals and refugees and everybody gets free shit, but nothing's free, because when the government says something's free, that means they're taking money from working people. The government doesn't produce money, and the liberals just won't give that message. I just don't get it. All right, so what's going to happen here? Here's some things that I think that could really trigger, you know, media bias, blackout. When you see that coming, these are going to be clues that it's coming. The more the media gets controlled, the more the media is not allowed free press, the more the media supports the government's company line and agenda with no opposition, and they don't let anybody speak out against it, and they don't show the other side so people have information that they can base their own decision on. That's a clue. Government control or martial law, that could trigger it. If the government decides to overreach and get martial law, well, how do they get martial law, Rick? Well, if you fire up the Black Lives Matter and they start shooting cops, and then we get the white people to shoot back because they're tired of being victims and being shot at just because they're white, then we can say it's a race war, and we have to come in as a government and save the day and make you safe for national security and public safety, and we'll just declare martial law. And then all the sheep will go, ah, bah, give us free stuff, and then everything will be happy. Man. Police takeover, if the police try to take over too much. I mean, Dallas police, when they shot those 5 cops, they negotiated with that guy before they blew him up. I say that in all seriousness. They negotiated with him for 3 hours. That's a long time. And and that's going to be a problem. How long do you negotiate? When do you give up? Who says you give up? What's your thing for giving up? Do you give up quicker on a poor black man than you do a poor white guy or a rich white guy? You know, all these things will be discussed in the courts, and it'll be lawyers, and everybody will have their opinion. The liberals will have their idiot side, and then reasonable people have their side. Then the liberals will try to push their agenda and flood the courts, and it'll be a big joke. But remember, we the people, the government works for us. We're in charge. Let's see. And of course, anytime there's going to be public overreach, martial law, or things, the government will always come out and call for calm. We need you to cooperate. We're under control. We have a plan. I mean, if you've been around for a lot of years, when I was younger, I used to see this and feel good. I'd get a little warm, fuzzy feeling the government. Some politician, governor, president come out and go, everything's fine. We got a plan. We're going to do this. You can sleep safe. You'll be safe. And they'd be like, man. Thank God the government's got this under control. Because I was an idiot. And I was young and stupid and I didn't know no damn better. And I was being, you know, I'd been affected by the liberal pushing of their bullshit for so long that it skewed me. Even though I knew down deep, man, that just doesn't pass the smell test. Government's never really the answer. I mean, in Texas, you kind of grow up as government's the bad guy. You can't trust government. You can't give them power because when you do, they abuse it. So it's always about limited government, keeping people in check. Let's see. Government encourages division, of course, you know. Government will always define and point at an enemy. So when government wants something, they're always going to be telling you, this guy's to blame, the black people, the white people, you know, the liberals, the right, the gun people. They'll always be pointing at who to blame. You never let your enemy define your enemy, because they'll never tell you the truth. The government is the enemy of the people. I'm telling you, it's just the way it is. We have this adversarial. They did a study. It's like 78% of the people think the government does not work for their interests. Well, what the hell does that mean? How can we say the government works for us when 78% of the people don't believe the government has our best interests in heart? It's the truth. Everybody knows it's the truth. They don't give a shit. They're about padding their own pocket, getting rich, ripping off the country. No different than these other banana republics that, you know, when I was getting, what's his name, out of the Philippines, and we had to guard him and get him because the people were going to kill him because he robbed them blind. He sat up there and did exactly what our government is doing, and we saved him, and we brought him to Hickam Air Force Base and hit him, and I was working with the Secret Service and our SWAT team. We were guarding him for 30 days, him and all his people that ripped off people. And I was like, man, and the Philippines were supposed to be our friends. We were supposed to be supporting the people. Yeah, okay. We were supporting a leader who supported us, and then when he got caught ripping them off, we saved his ass, moved him out, and hit him. Let's see. Government will support those. And again, remember, government will always support those that support their position. So that's why government is always supporting these Black Lives Matters and these terrorist groups and the Muslims coming in and shoot. They like people that support their position. Well, Rick, how does that support their position? It supports their position because they get to come in now and say, if we get the guns, we can protect you, and it's the guns' fault that the Muslims are blowing up and killing and shooting people. It's not the religion, it's not the Muslim preaching, it's not their hate. It's the guns' fault that the black guy was shooting cops. It's not the black guy, it's not the hate, it's not the racial division, it's not Obama telling everybody they need to be racist and painting the white guy as the big evil man. None of that's the problem. It's the gun. So it supports government positions. And again, you don't let your enemy tell you who your enemy is. It's just when the government tells me who my enemy is, I automatically know they're doing a rope-a-dope, and I'm like, I know that's not the enemy because they're trying to deflect me and make me think an enemy, and I already know you're my damn enemy. So whatever you tell me, I know isn't fact. I know people are going to say, man, this guy really hates the government. The government is good, and we have schools, and we have fire department and police, and we pay a little taxes. But look what a great country. Look at these other countries. We're so much better. You're an idiot. All right, let's see here. Nationalization of the police. You know the government knows we're about to have a revolution when they want to start nationalized police. Look at every suppressive country. Look at every place where there's tyranny. You have a nationalized police force. But Rick, that's better because then they'll all fight by the same rules and then we'll only have to keep one part. You're an idiot. The larger government grows, the less accountable it is. That's why local government is the only thing that we have control of, that we can immediately impact with our votes. We see them. The people making the rules have to live under those rules because they live locally. That's how government works and helps. When you get government and state and federal level, you lose that control and accountability. It's just like cops. We used to have to live in the neighborhood we worked. People knew us. We went home. We slept with our neighbors. We weren't writing our neighbors' tickets. We weren't writing our fellow citizens' tickets and doing tax collection. We didn't do that. We went after bad guys. We went after people that were doing bad things. And we took care of the decent working folk because we lived in the community. Now, all cops I know never live where they work. They always drive and they're living somewhere else because usually their work is shitty. And they're like, I don't want to live in a shithole. So what do? We come here, we collect taxes, we write tickets, we arrest people, we get our quotas, we justify more federal money so we can justify our job and the people suffer. And then they hate the cops and now they're killing the cops and everybody's crying, our police protect it. You know, look, I mean, it's pretty easy to predict this shit if you look at it. Nationalized police. Remember, freedom is never more than one generation a day. I can't remember who said it. I'm sure a lot of people said it, but we have left, I did the video, don't let your kids grow up to be liberals. We have let the government and liberalism infect and stain our kids' minds, and they have no idea what freedom is and fighting for freedom and what living in a free country is and having pride in your country. Instead, we've let the liberals tell everybody how bad the country is and how we stole it and how the mean white man did this and how we treated black people bad for the last 100 years even though they're in the best country in the world and any one of them can go back to Africa because they want to be called African American. They can go back to Africa anytime, but they don't. They'd rather stay here and complain on how bad we are. You know, freedom is never more than one generation away. We the people, I don't even know what the hell that is. I put that on here kind of like, you know, who believes that shit? Okay? What power do we the people have? People go, we got power. Really? Tell me what power. Can we go to the elections and vote these people? No. We have to pick between two idiots. Can we vote the federal government to stop taxing us? No, because they'll just tax us around the door and they'll make rules and regulations that tax us and fine us and we'll get taxed that way. Well, Rick, what about we the people? They tell us we the people run it. Well, that's because you're an idiot and you believe them. Okay? Ben Franklin said when they were signing the Declaration and then when they were signing to get away from Britain, he said, we have to hang together or we will absolutely hang separately. And that's what's going to take for this revolution. If this to take place, people are going to have to say, we're in it together or we're just going to be picked off separately. And we're just going to be picked off as the people stand up, they're going to get shot down. And as this guy stands up, he'll get shot down. Pretty soon people say, you know what, it doesn't matter to stand up because you just get shot down. Next thing you know, we're all lining up, getting on the train saying, well, government will protect us. We gave them our guns because we trusted them. And, you know, they just get on the train, shut up. And then we'll have the SS and we can blame them for being bad guys. When in fact the SS was only the government working, doing a job, going to work, providing for his family. He couldn't stand up. He didn't want to lose his job. I mean, the similarities are so just in your face, and people just, you know, there's none so blind as those that do not want to see. And we're living in a country where nobody wants to see what's going on. They would rather live and believe comforting lies than they would to hear the hard truths. And that's why so many people get pissed off at me, because, I mean, people don't like truth now. So, let's see. Who or what can stop the government from spending? We can't. Who can stop the freedoms? We can't. The courts maybe could, but they're not, because they put them with left-wing judges. Congress maybe could, but they're not, because they're too busy fighting with each other and patting their own pocket and appeasing the people that vote for them so they can keep their job, get more money, and become out millionaires. So Congress ain't going to stop it. Can the press stop it? Hell no, the press can't. They're too worried about pushing their liberal agenda and supporting the government. Hell, they can't even get confidential sources anymore. And man, it seems like a long time, but I'm over 15 minutes. No, shit, I'm pretty good. I'm moving along. So, I mean, the government has already made it against the press. Make sure I had that on 15 minutes. It didn't go up. Timer ends. All right. Well, shit, I'm good. All right, so the press can't stop it. Can we, the people, stop it? You know what? I'm kind of iffy on that. I don't think we have the gumption, the guts, the balls, whatever you want to call it. I just don't think there's enough of us. I'm going to give you some stats here in a minute. The rotten decay of this country is being managed. It's not being stopped or fixed. Okay, every time there's a problem and government comes in and acts like they're going to fix it, they never fix it because they caused it. They just put a Band-Aid on it. You know, in the Vietnam War, you say, you know what, we shoot people down with machine guns, then we give them a Band-Aid so we feel better that we're helping them. Are you kidding me? That's what our government does every day. They're killing us with machine fire, and then they're giving us Band-Aids when we turn around and we go, oh, the government's helping us. Look at that Band-Aid they just gave us. I just don't get it. Let's see. What will cause it? I think something that could trigger it is mass murder. If the government does a mass murder, you know, something like Ruby Ridge, Waco, you know, Kent State, where they shoot unarmed kids, something major like that could start a large mass of protests, but that's not really going to start the revolution because, you know, remember, I forgot my stats in here. I think it's like 1/3. They say that it takes 70 or 80% of the people to overthrow a standing government. So to get 70 and 80% of the people to agree on anything is almost damn near impossible. Hell, you couldn't get them to agree that we all need oxygen to live. There'd be people, no you don't, yeah, you can do this, you can... I mean, you just can't get 70 to 80% of people to agree a lot. But they say that's about what it takes to overthrow a standing government. However, in our revolution, our first revolution, we proved that it only took about 1/3 of the people because the studies they did during the revolution, when we were breaking away from Britain and England and King and all this other BS, when we did that, there was 1/3 of the people that said, we don't want to break away. We got a good England prepares for us. They give us an army. It's great. We love it. We like being slaves. 1/3 said, hell no, we want freedom. We don't want to be slaves. We don't want it. And the other 1/3 said, we don't give a shit either way. Whatever. We're just out here making a living work. That's where usually your majority's at. Most people just don't give a shit. So we proved that with 1/3 of the people wanting it, we could do the government. What was different? Every other revolution where they say it takes 70 to 80%, it's because the people are unarmed. If the people are armed, it only takes 1/3, 33%. Now that's a pretty good statistic. because I think there's some other measures in there, though, because it only took 1/3 and 33% because they didn't have a standing army there. Our federal government is a standing army, and it grows every day. They're arming meat inspectors, USDA, BLM, fish cops, you name it. There are property inspectors, code enforcement, cops, parking meter, you name it, and the government wants to arm. I just saw some on Facebook. They want to arm firefighters and EMT now so they can defend themselves and they go into bad areas. So they want to give them guns. I mean, I got no problem with people exercising their right to carry a gun. I got a problem when government keeps growing their government armed occupation force. That limits how much people can fight back and push back. When a government has more guns than the people, it's never a good thing. Let's see here. What else will cause it besides a mass murder? I think banks, food, financial, the gas crisis. That could trigger the next revolution to where it sparks it and it really gets it moving forward fast time, kind of like the Tea Party. So if the banks fail and they start shutting, if our financial dollar crashes, if everyone else in the world wakes up and goes, you know what? The U.S., those pieces of shits are just printing money. Their money ain't no better than a piece of shit that we can print. Let's print our own damn money and screw the U.S. money. Our dollar's going to drop, it's going to fold, it's going to be back in the, the Deep Depression, and most people don't remember that. They probably don't teach it in history because they don't want to tell you how incompetent government is and how government can screw shit up so bad and then come in and fix you. They used to pay people $1 a day to pick up trash during the Depression. The government was like, hey, look at us, we're providing money for you. We're going to give you $1 a day to go pick up trash. Government doesn't produce anything. The only thing they do is print money, and they take money from other people. They take it when you die through property tax, they take it through the death tax, whatever. The government only takes from others. They produce nothing that they give away. Well, Rick, they produce bombs in the military. Yeah, they produce it with money they take from people that are working. Stop saying shit's free. We've got so damn many people stupid out there, they don't even know what free is. Oh, it's free, Rick. No, it's not free. They're taking it from someone else. It's like coming up and taking my car. Oh, the car's free. Let me just jump in and drive off. It's not free, you dumbass. It's mine. And when the government gives you something free, they took it from someone else who did not have a choice. They seized it. Let's see. Attack. Let's see. Government will blame. Of course, they'll blame everybody but them. Attack our wars. Okay, I think another attack on our country. If we can get Russia to attack us, or if we get in some war, that could kind of spark a revolution, because if we're busy fighting wars, kind of like now, we've got all our troops deployed to over 100 different countries. So our government has all our military everywhere. But they're building their home base military here by arming firefighters, EMT, meat inspectors, grocery clerks, DMV workers, you name it, they're going to start arming them, so they're building their armed army here. But Rick, those people are Americans and they won't shoot Americans. They want their job security, government, retirement. They want to take care of their family. Not many people are going to be walking away. Our founders did it. They walked away from their fame and fortune and risked being hung because they were different men back then. We don't have that type of people in this country anymore. There's a few, but it's not the majority. It's not even the minority. It's a small fraction. Let's see here. Attack by another country, that might spark it. A flu epidemic, bio attack, Ebola, national disaster. Man, I know I went over. I can't be just talking 15 minutes. I'm getting hoarse and I've been through 3 pages. National disaster, that could do it if there was a big crisis, and then that's going to in turn cause food disruption, travel, infrastructure, EMP attack, breaks down our grid, a sun flare. Any of those things can kind of start anarchy. People will get disruptive. Your Black Lives Matter will come out and blame the white man, so they'll have a reason to go loot, holler, and shoot cops, and then the government will have to come in and save everybody and keep us safe and tell us how they're wonderful they are because they came in and saved you. And they drew chalk lines around your family and bodies. If 1% declares war on the government, that could do it. If 1% of people, I mean, that's a lot of people. If they got together, which they never will, we just can't do it, and my next video is going to be on communication and how the government controls it. Any revolution is going to be shut down before it starts, which is why our tactics would have to be different in a revolution. But, if 1% of the people declared war on the government, that might spark the revolution. Mass riots, loss of control by the government, that would start it. If the masses stop voluntary compliance. Remember, our law and our rules are based on voluntary compliance. It only works in a free country when the majority of people agree with the government rules and laws and they all agree to voluntary comply. That way government is small and they can handle the small amount of people that disagree. And the large amount of people that agree can control government to ensure the balance of power, that the people agree with the government agrees with the masses, and therefore we only have a small percentage pushing back. Well, that's reversed now. The government is the masses, they don't agree with the people, and now the people are at the small end going, hey, we don't have control of shit, our government's pushing us. Hey, all right, now I'm at 15 minutes. Let's see, states' rights. All right, I'll come back with states' rights. All right, sorry, I'm going to have to do a number. I think this will be number 6 now.